Blake Lively developed some feelings for for Justin Baldoni. Ryan Reynolds is now abusing his wife. That's scary. That's narcissism.
Ryan Reynolds is spiraling after learning the harsh truth. Blake Lively's connection with Justin Baldoni wasn't just on-screen chemistry. It was real. And it started long before the cameras rolled.
Basically saying, I will burn down my entire house. I will burn down your career.
It's a brutal pill to swallow, realizing your wife was crushing on someone else for years. But maybe Ryan should stop pointing fingers and start facing his own reflection.
Is Blake Lively a beard? Like, is she there just to produce kids and to give him that family image?
Be real. Blake isn't some innocent saint in this saga, but a woman trapped in a toxic, controlling marriage was never going to thrive.
Constantly making gay jokes, trying to kiss each other on camera.
The cracks in their marriage weren't just about petty arguments or household chores. These were the kind of fractures that split open entire empires.
Observing is essentially a ticking time bomb, a timer on Ryan Reynolds' ego.
Imagine the weight of living with a man constantly accused of hiding parts of himself. Whispers about Ryan's sexuality only fueled speculation that Blake found comfort in Baldoni, turning their professional bond into something far more intimate.
Blake Lively has nothing to do with what is happening. Her husband has come undone. Blake Lively developed some feelings for Justin Baldoni.
On the set of It Ends With Us, their connection deepened. What was framed as acting started to look like raw emotion, proof that Blake's feelings went well beyond the script.
Has happened to her. She has, been in love with Penn Badgley from, Gossip Girl, then she got with Ryan Reynolds.
And that so-called emotional affair quickly snowballed. At first, Hollywood brushed it off as gossip, but soon it became the centerpiece of betrayal, insecurity, and a courtroom war that left no one looking clean.
They're on set, and their job is to sell that they're falling in love. And a lot of times, as we see with actors and actresses, it actually happens. And there's no question in my mind that Blake Lively caught real feelings for Justin Baldoni.
And if you think this is all speculation, think again. In the documentary, she said Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni, which aired Monday. Mia Shaker flat out pointed to the pair's friendship long before Blake accused him of harassment, an accusation Baldoni still firmly denies.
He claims civil extortion, defamation, and that all of this really is about her wanting to have control of the movie.
While Blake painted Baldoni as crossing boundaries, insiders argue it looked far more like an emotional affair than a case of unwanted advances.
This isn't just a fluffy celebrity feud. The actual story is, I think, a lot darker and a lot more complex than that.
Blake wasn't necessarily a victim here. She was a woman tangled up in feelings for her co-star, feelings that blindsided both Baldoni and Ryan Reynolds.
The thing is why I say this is not a real lawsuit, and Ryan Reynolds knows this, is because he's got everything on camera, okay?
The lawsuit that followed wasn't just a legal clash. It was the messy fallout of an affair-turned-scandal, spiraling into a storm no one saw coming.
He says, this whole idea is like a sexual harassment. She invited him to her penthouse and he was holding her baby. The guy that sexually you're not having him to your house and letting him hold your kid.
12 days, the truth began leaking out. Ryan's role could no longer be ignored. The frenzy wasn't fueled solely by Blake's accusations or Baldoni's defense. It was powered by Ryan's own insecurities.
What is happening now, in my view, is Ryan Reynolds is now abusing his wife.
When Reynolds discovered Blake's emotional attachment, he saw it not as innocent, but as betrayal. His panic wasn't about justice. It was about protecting the glossy family brand he had built.
He's using, this is like litigation abuse. He is trying to inflict pain. Again, this is my perspective, pain and punishment, because he has come undone, realizing that she had some sort of an emotional affair with Justin Baldoni.
From the start, Ryan positioned himself as the driving force. While headlines screamed about harassment, insiders whispered the real lawsuit was Ryan's retaliation, born of pride and paranoia.
This lawsuit describes as they were riding into the night together. She was laughing until she was crying. And again, he's got this on camera, the way that he just dropped that scene on camera. So Ryan knows that
He couldn't handle the possibility that his wife had fallen for someone else. That fear twisted into obsession, and obsession turned into legal warfare.
Everything that's being claimed here is easily disputed.
Ryan didn't just want to win in court. He wanted to send a message to Baldoni, to Blake, to the industry. Nobody and nothing was allowed to shatter the perfect facade of Ryan Reynolds.
That Ryan is now trying to get a gag order as opposed to ending the lawsuit.
The way Ryan Reynolds has handled this entire fiasco makes one thing painfully clear. This was never about justice or truth. It was about control. Control over Blake. Control over his narrative. Control over the flawless image he's been selling for years.
Means that he has not yet come to terms with his ego. That's scary. That's narcissism, right? Like that is not a relationship you want to be in, because he's basically saying, I will burn down my entire house.
The lawsuit became less about law and more about punishment. For Blake, for Baldoni, as if erasing an emotional affair could magically restore Ryan's grip on a marriage already collapsing.
I will burn down your career, and I will burn down my career, and I will also inflict pain upon our children.
And it didn't stop in the courtroom. Ryan's public persona, the charming husband, the doting father, was a mask. Behind the scenes, his possessiveness gnawed at everything, leaving a trail of strain and toxicity that few wanted to acknowledge.
Can't win it. This is an unwinnable lawsuit. The biggest loser in all this, by the way, is the New York Times. Like, how stupid. I mean, it must have been a phone call they have to settle this. There's no way that he lost things. Justin Baldoni has real damages.
His obsession with controlling Blake's image reached disturbing levels. He was willing to gamble everything. His career, his reputation, even his marriage, just to maintain power. It wasn't love. It was insecurity dressed up as devotion.
Make sure that Justin Baldoni could never work in Hollywood again. That person was Ryan Reynolds, okay?
Of course, Blake isn't blameless. Her emotional entanglement with Baldoni lit the fuse. But to heap all the blame on her is dishonest. At the core of this inferno was Ryan's manipulative grip, the engine behind every explosive turn.
I am not a Blake Lively fan. I think this snowballed and it spiraled, and she basically just had to let her husband, whatever it was that he saw, and he finally caught on to this quote unquote emotional affair. Again, I'm giving my opinion, having now read the documents. It sent him into a kind of rage.
And then came Candace Owens, never one to mince words. Her take, this entire circus, Blake's accusations, Baldoni's denials, the lawsuit was nothing more than Ryan Reynolds' power play dressed as justice.
All I care about is harming Justin Baldoni as opposed to maybe trying to work through whatever it was in your relationship.
Owens argued Ryan wasn't protecting his wife or defending his family. He was protecting his ego. The legal battle, she claimed, was his stage, and Blake, Baldoni, and even the media were just props in his performance.
Catching feelings for Justin Baldoni, because that's what happened here. She caught feelings for this. She was never, in my view, sexually harassed. None of this happened, and they were getting close. That's what happened, and Ryan flipped a switch.
Her analysis cut deeper. The real target wasn't Blake at all. It was Baldoni. Owens painted Ryan as a man so insecure he would burn another man's career to preserve his own shine. And according to her, Reynolds even orchestrated press coverage, planting narratives in outlets like the New York Times to keep the spotlight tilted his way.
Avoided every fact. That means they gave Justin Baldoni hours to respond, and yet he had film that could have disputed, and they didn't give him the time to produce that. They hit send on it because they were doing someone a favor.
That article trashing Baldoni? Turns out it wasn't just bad press, it was strategy. Candace Owens dropped the bomb that Reynolds' team had their fingerprints all over it, using the smear campaign as a weapon. The goal was never truth. It was destruction. Baldoni's reputation had to burn so Ryan's ego could survive.
Very concerned for the circumstance that Blake Lively.
But Owens didn't stop there. She argued Ryan's motivations weren't limited to the lawsuit. They came from somewhere darker, a well of emotional insecurity, old wounds he's never dealt with. His obsession with control was less about Blake and more about the ghosts he refuses to face.
Focus has now come on to Ryan Reynolds. And I wanted to play that clip because I started to do research, digging more and more into Ryan Reynolds. And it is very disturbing how he treats his wife. Now,
that's why the lawsuit rings hollow. It wasn't about clearing Blake's name. It was about disguising Ryan's own fractures. His witty golden boy persona was a mask, and behind it was a man desperate to keep his life stitched together. Owens even hinted that the real engine here wasn't love, it was fear.
Lively, in my opinion, is no victim. It has been shown over and over that she is a terrible person. She is a bully. She appears to be a raging narcissist. I mean, there is enough out there to show that she deserves no sympathy.
And then comes the inevitable question. Why Justin Baldoni? Why would Blake, the actress with the picture-perfect life, risk everything for a co-star she barely knew before filming It Ends With Us? Some say the answer is simpler than it looks, a pattern Blake has carried for years.
She went along with her husband to do all of the things that they've tried to do to destroy Justin Baldoni. But what Candace hit on in terms of he doesn't care if he destroys his wife. He doesn't care if he harms his children. He doesn't care. This man is focused on his ego.
Think back. The sparks with Ben Affleck on The Town, the deep ties to Penn Badgley on Gossip Girl. Time and again, Blake's professional roles bled into personal attachments. It wasn't random. It was a recurring theme, a telltale signature of how she connected with the men around her on set.
And everything that he says about his wife publicly is absolutely humiliating. People have taken it as jokes. And I played a clip in the beginning before that. This man is near 50. And this is the type of things that he's saying and doing to his wife. But it gets worse. And I plan to uncover all of these receipts.
So when she fell into something with Baldoni, it wasn't unprecedented. What made it explosive was the backdrop. This wasn't a single co-star fling. This was an emotional affair unfolding inside a marriage to Ryan Reynolds, Hollywood's poster boy for family values. That contradiction is what turned a private lapse into a public implosion.
But he hate his wife so much. I mean, if my husband talked to me or made these jokes about me publicly, I just can't even imagine.
Behind the glossy magazine covers and Instagram dad jokes, Blake was reportedly trapped in a marriage that never gave her what she needed emotionally. The picture-perfect image was there for the public, but behind the scenes, she was quietly suffocating.
Blake Lively a beard? Like, is she there just to produce kids and to give them that family image? Because once you start to add it all up, that's the picture I see.
Some insiders went even further, painting Blake's role as something darker, that of a beard. Her job wasn't just wife and mother. It was to sell the illusion of a flawless family unit, while Ryan allegedly wrestled with desires and questions about his own identity. The facade wasn't for her. It was for him.